Hello everyone, this is Rohit Khemchandani and welcome to Stratigem. Today we are tackling one of the biggest economic and strategic questions of our time, which is, can the world survive its $300 trillion debt? Governments, corporations and households have piled up unprecedented debt levels. This number is larger than the global GDP several times over. In this session we will explore how we get here, why debt is not always bad, what risks it poses, how AI is helping analyze debt dynamics, and what consultants and leaders should do to prepare for a debt saturated future. So let's start with the first topic, the scale of the problem. Global debt now exceeds $300 trillion. Debt to GDP ratios are soaring across developed and emerging economies. Low interest rates previously masked risks. Rising rates expose vulnerabilities. Private debt, which is corporate and household, is now as concerning as public debt. This isn't just an economic issue. It is a strategic challenge for governments and businesses alike. Now let's see that why debt is not always bad. So debt has enabled growth financing, investments in infrastructure, innovation and education, crisis response, COVID stimulus packages prevented collapse, leverage in business. Companies scale faster through debt. But there is a thin line. When debt grows faster than income or productivity, it becomes a drag. The risks of excessive debt. First is sovereign risk. Countries defaulting or requiring bailouts. Corporate vulnerability. Zombie companies surviving only through cheap credit. Household stress. Rising interest burdens on mortgages and student loans. And systemic risk. Financial contagion from defaults. Debt crises are not abstract. They shape geopolitics, inequality, and global markets. The AI lens on debt. So, AI is revolutionizing how we analyze debt. Predictive analytics, forecasting sovereign default risks, sentiment analysis, gauging market reactions in real time, debt mapping, visualizing global exposures across banks, funds, and countries, and finally, scenario planning, simulating interest rate and growth shocks. So, consultants using AI can turn overwhelming complexity into actionable insights. Now, let's see few case studies. So, Greece in 2010s, sovereign debt crisis reshaped the EU's political economy. Today, China, so corporate and real estate debt posing systemic risks. For US corporations, high yield bond markets vulnerable to high rate hikes. These cases show that debt crisis can emerge in very different contexts, but always with ripple effects. Let's see the possible futures. Inflation erosion. Debt burdens shrinks if inflation outpaces interest. Debt restructuring. Governments and firms renegotiate the terms. Financial innovation. New instruments to spread risk. And default cycles. Painful resets through bankruptcies. The future is not binary. Multiple paths will coexist across regions and sectors. Now, what is the role of the consultant? So, consultants help client in managing stress test balance sheets for rate shocks, model sovereign and corporate risk exposure, design strategies for resilient capital structures, and advise policymakers on fiscal sustainability. There is no longer the domain of economics alone, it's core to strategy. Now let's see a 5-step debt strategy framework. So first is map. Assess exposure across sovereign, corporate and household debt. Then monitor. Use AI tools for real-time tracking. Model. Simulate interest, inflation and default scenarios. Mitigate. diversify funding sources and renegotiate terms, and finally mobilize, build contingency plans and risk response plans. So in conclusion, the $300 trillion debt mountain is daunting, but not insurmountable. With smart analysis, AI powered tools, and proactive strategies, governments, companies, and households can navigate this era of leverage. So ask yourself, are you preparing for a risk of debt or waiting for the next crisis to decide? Thank you for joining in this session. Hope you liked this video. Please do like and subscribe our YouTube channel. And if you have any comments or feedbacks, please post them in the comment section below. Thank you.